Hello, I'm Michael.
I'm Sally, and this is Wrestle MSX.
After a recap of CM Punk screwing Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle, we open the show with the straight-edge superstar himself. After some waffle, Punk said he'd killed Drew's career, didn't think it to be that easy, and that the Scottish Warrior has taken his ball and gone home.
We then get interrupted by, not McIntyre, but Paul Heyman. Heyman told Punk he had an urgent situation and he got in the ring. The two hugged for about 20 seconds before Heyman continued. Heyman says that driving here, Solo heard on the radio that this is Punk's town, and that annoyed Solo. And now that he's head of the table, Solo wants every town to be his. I came out here to do you a favour, and I want a favour back. If you don't get out of here now, they'll come for you, so please get the hell out of here.
Enter the Bloodline. They stop halfway down the rampway. You want to be on my show? Pay respect to me, said Solo. What's the favour you want of me? Punk asked Heyman. Take me with you, replied Heyman. Punk then said to Solo and the Tongans, I acknowledge that you're fake Usos. The Bloodline had heard enough and entered the ring. But then sliding in from behind Punk came the undisputed champion, Cody Rhodes, with 2 baseball bats. He gave a bat to Punk, and the Bloodline soon backed up and cleared the ring. I've already beaten one head of the table, Cody told Solo, and promptly challenged him to a match later.
Corey Graves then told us that security had been beefed up due to the Wyatt attack on Monday.
We then catch up with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill saying they're going to talk to Nick Aldis about a rematch for the tag titles.
Bianca then heads to the ring for her match against Michin and Chelsea Green in a triple threat qualifying match for Money in the Bank.
Before the match gets underway though, we see Cody Rhodes bumping into Randy Orton and Kevin Owens backstage. They offer to have his back in his match later with Solo, but Rhodes refuses, saying he's got a plan.
Back to the women's triple threat, and we see a suicide dive from Chelsea Green to the outside on both Belair and Michin. We see Bayley watching from the back. Michin gets a 2 count after performing a Styles Clash on Green, Belair breaking the pin attempt. Belair then hits a KOD on Michin, but as Bianca goes for the cover, Green grabs her, throws her out the ring and covers Michin, stealing the win from Belair. Green progresses to the Money in the Bank match.
Backstage we see Paige, version 2, aka Blair Davenport, telling Bayley she's looking forward to cashing in on her when she wins Money in the Bank.
We then see Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa having a cosy chat. Solo tells Heyman to tell the Tongans to do something. We don't know what it was because the mic dropped out. This was done, we think, so we didn't know what was meant to be said. We then hear Solo telling Heyman that they need to have a talk.
Heyman's in trouble. Back from the break, we then see Grayson Waller saying he's going to win Money in the Bank for Austin Theory. Not win it for him, but win it for him. Anyway, he's at home recovering from last week's attack by DIY. We then get interrupted by DIY themselves, who tell Waller that he sacrificed his best friend for his own well-being. Then they all get interrupted by 5 bangs on a shutter door that's behind them. As the shutter goes up, we see a bloodied and battered Punk laying on the ground, with someone standing over him. Is it the Wyatts? They're here. No, it's an angry-looking Drew McIntyre. Drew then picks Punk up on his shoulders and carries him to the entranceway. As McIntyre looks out onto the WWE crowd, he dumps Punk to the ground, takes Punk's bracelet off him and puts it in his pocket. I don't know what the significance is, whether somebody gave that to Punk, I don't know.
Not sure.
Nick Aldis comes running out with medical staff and security. Drew pushes Aldis. The two exchange a few choice words before Punk is loaded onto a gurney and transferred to hospital.
Next out is Tama Tonga, Randy Orton and Carmelo Hayes in a triple threat qualifying match for Money in the Bank. Both Hayes and Tonga suffered back body drops onto the announcer's table by Orton, of course. Back from the break, we see Tama taking it to Carmelo with Orton nowhere to be seen. A facebuster gets Hayes a 2 count on Tonga, but a backbreaker gets Tama a 2 count on Hayes, only to be broken up by Orton.
There he is.
We then get a double vintage Orton on Hayes and Tonga at the same time. Then, as Orton waits to RKO whichever man gets up first, Tangaloa runs down to the ring, climbs onto the apron and gets punched off by Orton, who knew he was there. As Orton turns back towards the ring, Tama rushes him, but the Viper's too quick, throwing him out the ring. Hayes then seizes his opportunity, rolls up Orton, gets the pin and qualifies for the Money in the Bank match.
After a recap of what happened on Raw with the Wyatt 6, LA Knight heads out to the ring, calling out Logan Paul. Instead he gets Santos Escobar. Santos telling Knight not to forget about him, as Paul, Knight and Escobar have Money in the Bank qualifying match next week. Santos then gets the BFT before Knight turns to the camera once again calling out Paul, only to be jumped by Logan from behind. We then go to an ad break with Knight laying beaten in the middle of the ring.
We have another Money in the Bank triple threat qualifying match next. Andrade versus Grayson Waller versus Kevin Owens. KO is the last out. As he makes his way out at the top of the ramp, he gets attacked by Tama and Tonga. Orton comes out swinging a chair but misses both targets. The Tongans scatter. Owens hobbles down to the ring to compete, but the damage is done. Waller attacks Owens from the start before Andrade gets a 2 count on Waller. Andrade then pulls off a powerbomb on Waller by leaping over the ropes and powerbombing him to the floor as Waller was standing on the apron. Back from the break, we see Andrade doing his running double knee on both Owens and Waller. Andrade then covering Owens, but only for a 2 count. A senton gets Owens a 2 count on Andrade, and then a follow-up stunner by Owens gets another 2 count on Andrade, but only because Waller broke it up. Waller and Owens then fight outside the ring, Waller targeting Owens' injured knee. With Owens dealt with, Waller heads back into the ring to finish off Andrade, but Andrade is ready, hits Waller with the message and covers him for the win, progressing to the Money in the Bank match.
We then see Nia Jax attacking Michin after Michin attacked Tiffany Stratton. Michin only attacked Stratton because Stratton tried to attack her first.
We then get an update on Punk and find out that he's going to be spending the night in hospital after the attack by McIntyre.
Final bout of the night, Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. But just before Solo comes out, Heyman tells him that he's done his bidding, with Owens and Orton out of the picture. Heyman then says that Roman Reigns told him that CM Punk would be left alone as they're close, and that Cody Rhodes just has to be in check for when he comes back. Solo then stops Heyman from talking. He ain't coming back. Heyman nearly reduced to tears.
So, to the match. After Cody had thrown Solo into both ring steps and got back into the ring, the Tongans made their presence known and attacked Cody. The ref threw the match out. Just as Solo was about to perform the Samoan spike on Cody, out come Orton and Owens. Lower got stunned, Tonga RKO'd, and that left Solo. As Sikoa backed up into the corner, being stalked by Owens, Rhodes and Orton, another Bloodline member enters the fray, Jacob Fatu. He destroys Orton, Owens and Rhodes, before then setting up Rhodes on the announcer's table and performing a splash on him from the top turnbuckle.
Looked impressive, to be fair.
Smackdown went off the air with Solo, Tama, Tonga and Jacob all acknowledging.
Now, just a little what we feel of it. Yeah, I mean, I love the Punk Drew stuff. I think I think that's off the scale. It's the slow build.
Yeah, love it.
That's what you want. People want things too quick these days. But I like the slow build. That's what I'm liking. But I think it's a shame that Uncle Howdy and the Wyatts did for me, because the QR codes were on both shows, SmackDown and Raw. If it was just predominantly Raw, fair enough. They're just going to Raw. But the QR codes were everywhere. They were on NXT. They were on the main events, pay-per-views or PLEs, if you will. They were everywhere. And they never indicated that they were only going to be on one show.
Yeah.
But, still would have been nice for them just to... Maybe they don't want them again... Well, they won't go against the Bloodline because it seems to be that they're just against the establishment.
Yes.
But it would have been nice if they'd have just turned up like nobody's safe.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you again for watching.
And we'll see you again next time.